Good afternoon. There we go. Good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to this very esteemed panel joining us for this important discussion on energy efficiency. And today we're focusing on two key solutions in the fight against climate change: district cooling and retrofitting. These strategies, along with other innovations, are helping us optimize energy use and reduce our environmental footprint. Energy efficiency is often called the invisible hero or the invisible solution because it's about doing more with less, and to get the same or better results with less energy. From techniques inspired by ancient civilizations to modern breakthroughs, we're seeing how these methods are driving sustainability. So we're fortunate to have this esteemed and amazing panel of experts, and I'm excited to hear all of your insights. Let's start by addressing a broad but essential question. My first question will be addressed to everyone. We have a big panel, but there will be time for everyone to speak. So first of all, where do you see the biggest opportunities for energy savings, and how can we make sure these gains last long term? I would love to start with you, Excellency.
Thank you very much. And I am very delighted to be here and to be with Excellency Ahmad bin Shafar, who is leading one of the biggest district cooling company in UAE, and Mr. Dr. Waleed Alnuaimi, who is also leading one of the main programs for the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy, and the other gentlemen and deputy. The energy efficiency is very high on the UAE agenda. And our wise leadership had started the movement to accelerate the movement toward the green economy through multiple options. One of the main options was, of course, to do the transformation to clean energy through our main project policy making, and also the project on the ground, which was established in UAE, in Dubai, and in Abu Dhabi, all over UAE. The other thing was also to move toward the energy efficiency. And energy efficiency had a very big room and a very early start in Dubai. We had started actually in 2010. We very structured approach with 8 programs, and then we made the first update where we moved toward 10 programs as needed in the agenda. And then lately, in 23, we have introduced a full pledge. We called it House of Demand Side Management, or energy efficiency programs. They start, of course, with the building code. Now we are driving the clean energy and the energy efficiency and green economy through, of course, the green building code, which we call it now net zero building, or building which are very close, or net zero plus even buildings. And the second thing was, of course, the retrofitting, where we had established the Super ESCO. Dr. Waleed Alnuaimi will explain further, which had done a marvelous job through the Emirates of Dubai, and took a project outside even the Emirates of Dubai. And we have ambition for it, of course, to bring it even further to the MENA region. The other important, as you know, the cooling itself is 70% of the house consumption in Dubai, and the residential side. So this cooling played, we are very pleased and very thrilled to have Empower leading this sector, which is, of course, a very important sector in the MENA, in the UAE and in the MENA region. And His Excellency Ahmad bin Shafar will elaborate further. We have altogether 12 programs. They are all working in action. And last year, we had made, according to the measurement and verification, through the stakeholder. The most important thing is having the stakeholder. Every program of the energy efficiency in Dubai is driven by a responsible entity of Dubai, including from Dubai municipality to retrofitting, for example, Etihad ESCO, to this cooling is driven through regulation, and mainly Empower also doing the super job of almost Super ESCO. And also the other programs, every program like street lighting, for example, is by RTA. You have also the standard, and this is driven by the ministry, originally by ASMA, now it's by the Advanced Ministry for Industrial, and so on. The achievement till date is a saving for the Emirates of Dubai of nearly 15 million dirham till date, from 2010 till 2023. And we had a saving, particularly in 23. This is the total monetary saving. In 23, we made a saving of 17% in the power and almost 12.5 saving in the water. And of course, we are going ahead. This is one main tool to decarbonize the economy, to bring the neutrality, which is the initiative of our country, to bring it to carbon neutral by 2050. And the main and the most important thing is that for the Emirates of Dubai, we are targeting 30% reduction in consumption by 2030 and 50% by 2050.
Thank you. Ahmad bin Shafar, what are your thoughts on the biggest opportunities for energy savings today?
I think we are very blessed. First of all, I would like to thank you. It's my pleasure to be here on this panel. And frankly speaking, we are very blessed that we are here in the city of Dubai. We are actually ahead of all the region in terms of the energy efficiency and from energy and utilization of the energy. Specifically, 20 years ago when we started in power, district cooling was not started. So when we start was a real challenge. To educate people, adaptability, accepting the concept of district cooling, we are transforming the industry. And that was really itself, it's a challenge. This is a new techniques which we are using, which save 70% of electricity consumption. Let's see, if individual, I just want to put an example. If individual, any one of us, pay 1,000 dirham for his electricity bill, 70% of electricity would go to the air conditioning system in your house. So imagine with district cooling, we shrink that 70% to 35. So basically, we are adding benefit to the end user, to the consumer, to the building owner, to the master developer, to the government. So instead of wasting energy, for example, if we are constructing a tower in Sheikh Zayed Road, and the tower requires 1,000 tons, technically, they have to have a contingency, a reserve. So they will put 1,200. That will cause the following. Number one, the government has to build electricity for 1,200 tons and multiply it on the number of buildings. So there is a 20% contingency, it will never be used. Where we know that the maximum utilization will be ultimate load 1,000, but the actual load will be less than that by 10-15%. We don't know. So by district cooling, we eliminate this by building a central plant room and controlled by the district cooling operator. Number two, the building owner, instead of making all the city flat, if we have noticed Dubai, the canopies of each building is changed. We see different shape. This is by itself changing on the urban planning. We are changing the look of the city. If you walk in Business Bay in Sheikh Zayed Road, there is penthouse at the top, different look. You don't see any more chillers. It's all pipe underground connected to one nice, beautiful plant room, excuse me, serving all this building. So the benefit goes to the government. They are saving on electricity production, laying cable and corridors. That costs billions of dirhams. Trust me, over a long run, after 20 years, 25 years, the government by itself would recognize the saving. The building owner will take the efficient load. The end user, he will spend what he's supposed to spend. He don't have to pay extra cost on it. Like, as I said, 70% of his electricity goes to the air conditioning. He's saving 35. Excuse me. The most important that we are creating a new entity, and we changed the concept of district cooling from B2B to B2C. We are dealing with a customer. Today in Empower, I'm serving 150,000 customers per month. I'm sending bill. We create new jobs for the new generation, for the people. We create a new utility concept. Previously, all over the GCC, that they have water, electricity, and telecommunication. There's no more utility. Do you have any others? I don't know. Now we brought the district cooling in. So it's become another. By reducing one of the bill, using the portable water in very efficient way. I think this is, I'll talk about it on the second question. What's the technology that we are thinking is required?
Thank you very much. And Dr. Alnuaimi, it would be great to hear the energy perspective and maybe get a broader overview of how the UAE sees it.
Sure. Thank you. It's a pleasure to join this respected panel, and thank you for the appraisal, Your Excellency. I think the most opportunities in hand is to replace the older building with new technologies. Of course, the ultimate solution for cooling is the district cooling, where a big obligation lays on His Excellency Shafar. I wish that they can cover the whole of Dubai soon.
I think we should be partners.
We are partners.
Maybe today this panel can have a newer partnership be born.
So the challenge lay in the older buildings where the energy efficiency design wasn't in mind. In that case, we do our energy audit for the specific building. We look into the most suitable solutions. We create and innovate additional solutions where we can work in with the existing design, if not implementing the ultimate latest technology. Of course, putting that in mind, reaching to that energy efficiency is doable, but maintaining it requires a real-time monitoring where you can maintain and understand where your usage of that electricity in order to minimize it. In addition, of course, to the required operation and maintenance, where you can keep up your efficiency year to year and keep monitoring it.
Thank you, Doctor. And Hassan, as someone who comes from sustainable consulting, what's your take?
Well, pleasure to be here first. Thank you for the invitation. We've seen the Dubai site management strategy, so that basically used to be 8 pillars, now more than that. So if you look at these different pillars, it kind of tackles most of the energy consumption within Dubai. And we see the government is pushing for energy efficiency. There are targets by 2030 and then by 2050. Now, talking about the private sector, I see also the private sector learning from the experience of the government. So let's say now we are working with multiple entities like Amar, for example, TCOM, multiple others where we've helped them do energy retrofits, and savings are around maybe 15 to 30% in some cases. District cooling, for example, is another strategy that should be used even for existing buildings. We see a lot of buildings that are sitting close to district cooling plants, but they're not tapping into it. So this is another potential for augmenting the energy savings, because ultimately, if you just plug in the building without doing anything on the building side, you save around 50% of your carbon footprint if you connect to a district cooling plant, because the efficiency of district cooling plants is double or even more sometimes than your typical air-cooled systems. So if you look at Dubai, for example, 2050, I would say the penetration of district cooling should go beyond 50% of the city in order to achieve such targets. Next thing for making sure energy savings stay is measurement and verification. So Dubai Supreme Council of Energy, they have a team looking at measurement and verification. So there's a model to see where we are now and how much we're saving. That's important on Dubai, let's say, macro level, but also on these different projects to make sure that we are achieving these savings. Measurement and verification should be done. And again, the government is leading by example. I worked with a team at Takati in 2018, where we helped to enhance the measurement and verification protocol for the different programs. And this is something that should go also into the private sector, so at least we know our baseline, how much we're actually saving, and how much we're far from that particular target to get to by 2050. So all these pillars should be, or all these programs should be looked at and pushed towards the private sector as well, because we can see the government is already doing a lot in this. I see district cooling is one of the answers. You know, people say district cooling is not always the answer for any cooling problem, but probably is 95% of the time. Like you have minimum, let's say, situations where district cooling does not make a lot of sense. So in most cases, and since we have a lot of penetration now, at least in some areas, connecting existing buildings to district cooling and making sure most of our new projects are on district cooling is essential to get to that net zero target by 2050.
Thank you. Deepthy, we'd love to hear.
First of all, thank you so much for having me on this panel with esteemed other panelists, and thank you for bringing all of us together. So I work for the United States Green Building Council in GBCI, and I lead the operations for Middle East and North Africa. So to give you a bird's eye view of the kind of space that we're looking at coming into the LEED rating system, we're looking about 1.2 billion square feet of participating projects. And we have about 7,000 plus projects in the region. And to give you a perspective, LEED is actually a voluntary rating system. Now, that being said, thanks to the vision and leadership of the government of Dubai and the UAE at large, we've seen that UAE has always positioned itself in the top 10 countries for LEED outside of United States and Canada. Now, what does that speak about the initiatives that are happening within the country? Every time there's an iteration of LEED or a newer version that is released with enhanced energy efficiency measures, UAE is one of the earliest adopters of that rating system and program. Thanks to the efforts of some of our key clients like DIVA, Dubai Chamber, etc., we've had the good fortune of residing in a LEED Platinum certified city. What does that mean to common men like you and me, right? So we're looking at enhanced energy efficiency across buildings, across the built assets. We're looking at water efficiency. Apart from that, we're also looking at enhanced health and wellness within these buildings and spaces, including outdoor thermal comfort, etc. Carbon emissions, globally, the building sector contributes to 40%, and about 36% of the global energy consumption comes from buildings, which definitely boils down to the fact that, yes, the building sector is of extreme importance. Energy efficiency within buildings actually doesn't only come from the operational stages of the building. I'm an architect by profession, so I'd like to go back to my roots and say that, okay, we need to consider passive design strategies. Throughout the life cycle of a building, right from inception, concept design to construction and the operational stages, it is extremely important to measure consumption. You cannot monitor and improve what you don't measure, so measurement is key. We've also learned that the hard way, because after certifying about 20 billion square feet of space globally, we did notice that a lot of projects seem to be falling out of measuring their consumption on a day-to-day basis. That being said, all credit to some of our clients here. For example, Dubai Chamber was able to monitor and recertify their space within a matter of 3 months. And this wouldn't have been possible if best practices were not already in place. We can look at facade design, envelope, improving HVAC efficiency. We can look at all of those parameters if our core building is functionally very robust. And then, of course, improving operational efficiencies through all the measures that other panelists mentioned, and that leads a definitive or sets a definite trajectory towards net zero in the operational stages.
Thank you. And you mentioned the different initiatives, and we're talking about the opportunities, but if we bring it back now to Dubai, known for its very ambitious energy efficiency targets, what kind of initiatives can you share? And then you can also touch upon the challenges and what is it that's holding us back? Excellency.
Thank you very much. Uh, Energy efficiency, as I stated before, is very high on our agenda. And for the Emirates of Dubai, we started very early, and we established, of course, the House of the Demand Side Management. We introduced a full-fledged 12 programs, and each program has an owner from Dubai who is doing all the necessary need to reach the objective of each program, whether it is retrofitting or whether it is a green building code or district cooling or street lighting or any other program. And we, not only that we established something called Dubai Energy Efficiency Program, which is called locally Taqati. This established the connection and the explain the method and sit down with the program owner and explain to him the way forward, how to achieve and how to do the measurement and the verification of the savings. And we build up a very strong trust between our program, the energy efficiency, and also the owner of the program. And based on that, we had reached the target of right now, the saving 17 to 18%, and also the saving, the monetary saving of nearly 15 billion dirham over 12 years. And the other thing, which is also important, the awareness between the community. We took this also outside to the MENA region. We introduced an award. It's called Emirates Energy Award. This is a prize, which is a total prize of 5 million dirham, and it's addressed to the energy efficiency and clean energy in the MENA region. And we are every 2 to 3 years, we are celebrating this occasion and this award, and we bring winners, not only just sometime from the MENA region, but even outside the MENA region, to showcase the energy efficiency, the technology, the clean energy, the acceleration. The most important thing is the acceleration toward green economy. That is what is really we are driving with these tools, whether it's energy efficiency or clean energy through the big project which was established in Dubai in His Highness Solar Park, Ahmed bin Rashid Solar Park, driven by the technology authority, DEWA and Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, to drive forward with the technology, with the investment, with the partnership, with the private sector, going forward and bringing the big achievement toward the Emirates of Dubai. But that's not just limited even in the Dubai area. The whole UAE is investing heavily in energy efficiency, in also renewable energy, and you can see that everywhere, whether it's in Masdar, whether in the clean energy, in the nuclear projects. And the UAE right now had reached a stage which is played a very vital role in the Middle East. So these programs, which is addressed only to the Emirates of Dubai, is driven definitely by district cooling, headed by Empower, and also the ESCO company, which is Etihad ESCO, which supervise and give the assurance to the customer to provide the saving the contractor is promising to do. And this is a model which had successfully been used all over the world. And definitely the target, as I said, even in the new energy, in the clean energy, we're supposed to reach by 27% by 2030. In the energy efficiency, we are almost, our target is 30%. When we looked at the DSM strategy recently, we even stretch our target to 2050, and it's going to reach 50%. And we have the evidence to see and the technology right now to reach that stage.
Okay, well, that's great news. Policy is there. investment, strategy, and implementation. You believe that we're on the right pace to achieve the targets?
Yes, definitely. We are, the way the technology is moving forward, there is even in the solar panels, there is a big efficiency. In the AI, we have Etihad ESCO using the latest technology to have the efficient tools and the logic to have the retrofitting done in a correct way, and also managed and continuing to save, to keep the saving. Also, we have here Empower and the rest of the district cooling operators. They are using, we have organized between them and an association called District Cooling Association, headed by His Excellency Ahmad Bin Shafar, and they've done a marvelous job of bringing technology to the market, bringing technology and sharing expertise between them, and that's what we want. And the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy has also introduced regulation to the system, and we are very pleased to say that 100% of the companies who are operating in Dubai right now, they are already licensed by the regulator, and they are in compliance with the regulation. And this is you're talking about, you are in the MENA region, you are in the Middle East, so this is a very progressive, and this is in a short period of time we had managed, because we have the correct leaders. And one of them, of course, is Mr. bin Shafar, who had demonstrated through his company for the last, he was founded here before even the Supreme Council of Energy. But he had, from the start, he introduced technology, he brought saving to the customer, and we hope to continue the same method and the same way to bring reliable service, affordable prices, and also technology to everybody to improve the penetration. Right now, the penetration is 23% of this cooling in Dubai, but we wish to see 30% by 2030.
So expanding on your thoughts,
Yes.
Excellency, and
I
turning
want them to start working.
Thank you. It was a great leeway to the next question, and it would be great to hear from Excellency bin Shafar. What is the next big step for district cooling?
Well, we have to understand there is a huge transformation happening in the industry. We have started the district cooling the traditional way, where is the chiller pump and having cooling tower we are serving to the customer. By conducting a study, attending a lot of conferences globally, the United States, Europe, and everywhere, we found out that the main challenge facing us is the water. The water is the challenge, because now globally there is a drought. There is no water. So basically, we cannot use the reserve water or the portable water come from Dua for the industrial application. So we went ahead and we used reverse osmosis. We have invested in reverse osmosis, and we have started using the TSE, treated sewage effluent, the gray water. We are trying to use it for the industrial application where we can reduce using the portable water. We are trying to reserve it for the new generation. The number of population in the city of Dubai for the last 20 years, I think it's been troubled. So basically, we have to understand the concrete has increased, a lot of construction. Demand and living in the city of Dubai has been, like if you notice here, even on this panel, how many nationality, how many people are sitting here, how many nationality. It's very cosmopolitan. So we have to understand the people who are coming from different places. We don't have river, we don't have lake, we don't have any source of water. So basically, we went and we invest a lot in using the TSC water, which comes from Dubai municipality. Number two, we have looked at something else. We need to shave the load when we require the electricity on the peak load on the summer. For example, in the month of August, between 11 o'clock morning until 3 o'clock, this is the peak hour. So we went ahead without any incentivize from the government or from anyone, and we come up with the concept of storing the ice, thermal storage tank, where we are going on the evening and we store ice, we freeze it. On the peak hour, we shut down our chiller and we discharge that water into our network to reduce the consumption of electricity, to reduce the load on the main grid of Dubai electricity.
But storing itself has its own challenges.
Sorry?
Storing itself has its own challenges.
No, it doesn't. You know, there is a technology like on the evening, always the temperature on summer, on the daytime, the temperature go to 48, 49. In the evening, it goes to 38, 40. So there is 10 degree in between. In the evening, there is no much use because there is no sun, there is no heat coming. So on the evening time, like from 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, we start charging those tanks. It's very huge, it's very humongous. Just fill them with the ice. At the day, by 3, 4 o'clock morning, we shut down and we go to the traditional system until 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, we shut down completely and we run the thermal storage. So there is a huge saving in consumption of electricity. At the top of all of this, we are the first company globally who started using the sub-metering. We are charging the customer directly. We don't deal with the building owners. Because if you are an investor in city of Dubai and you build a tower and you sold all the apartment, you don't want to be hooked to the building. So when we done that concept, all the freehold property has benefited. So basically we are contributing also to the concept of the freehold. We make it much more easier. They'll pay the corridor and the reception by the building owner association. Each apartment bill will go to the apartment owner. More than that, we have also invested in technology by using command control center. We do have a command control in Empower. I can see any building. We are serving more than 1,700 buildings. You can tell me the building number 1,500, and the third floor, apartment number 5. How many fan cool units is running? What's the temperature? How many tonnage they are taking now? I can connect them and disconnect them remotely.
What percentage of Dubai is powered by cooling?
I wish if it's 100%, but keep in mind, Dubai has started long time ago. All the new development in Dubai, including World Trade Center, part of it are connected with district cooling. But all the new projects, mostly like I would say 95%, 99% are with district cooling. In power contribution in Dubai market, in district cooling market, we are 80% now. And we are growing up the number because the development is, thanks God, it's at the top. We are at the top of our toes.
Thank you. Well, that's great, but we don't want district cooling to steal all the show because we still have retrofitting.
No, the show is for everyone,
So-
but we
so-
need to steal all the money.
So,
Current, as I mentioned, the current penetration is 23%, but they aim to reach 30% in the cooling, which they had made a big achievement since the last 7 years. We started almost less than 20%, around 18%.
Yeah. But we can say that, you know, when we start, you just imagine 20 years ago, there is no district cooling. Most of the tower in business, be DIFC, Healthcare City, JBR, JLT, Jumeirah Palm, all of them are district cooling. Imagine the number
and
of
this is not a new method. So I'm surprised that it didn't exist because this is not a new method.
But the things at that time, the development was not as fast as was Dubai doing. If you compare to the region, to the GCC country, you will see the concept of district cooling, it's still new. Except Abu Dhabi and Qatar, they are a little bit mature on the concept of district cooling. In Saudi Arabia, they are just starting it. In Kuwait, they are also just starting the concept. Oman, it's a little bit established. I think in compared to Dubai, I'll just give you a number. Here in Dubai, I'm serving 1,715,000 tons. And if I want to compare the number, whole United States and Canada and Mexico, they are having 750,000 tons. So imagine the difference between the size of district cooling in Dubai and compared to United States, where we have to understand, in the United States, it's a continent. It's not a country. It's spread for 7-hour flying by airplane. Some places, they don't require cooling, they require heating. But also, the air conditioning system in the US recently, with the transforming on the weather and the change on temperatures, city of New York, all the major cities are using the district cooling more than 70 and 80 years. District cooling and district heating. Here in Dubai, we don't, thanks God, we don't require heating. We have enough heating, but just we need a cooling.
Although a lot of people would have liked to need heating a little more. So turning now to Dr. Al-Nuaimi and Etihad Energy is pioneering in retrofitting. So it would be good to hear what you say are the biggest barriers right now, and how is Etihad Energy planning or already overcoming them?
Well, the targets set by the Council of Energy and for Dubai by 2030 and 2050 is challenging. It requires collaboration between all the stakeholders and parties in order to achieve them. And they say with every challenge, there's an opportunity. In Etihad ESCO, the main challenge that we face is the financial burden to implement those energy retrofit for the buildings. Of course, it's a burden where the capital have to be raised from the building owner or the government entity in order to implement this energy retrofit and achieve the energy efficiency. However, we came up with innovative solutions in Etihad ESCO, where we implement the energy performance contracting. We propose to the client to repay the investment for this retrofit projects through easy payments throughout the contract period. To add to that, the repayment is included in the guaranteed saving for that entity or for that building. Therefore, there is zero capex, zero opex on the client. This also includes the ongoing operation and maintenance, measurement and verification throughout the contract period, which gives a peace of mind and additional comfort to the users of those buildings. The other challenge is the retrofitting of the older building, as I mentioned before, where the design is not compatible with the new technologies. That requires an additional innovative and case-by-case study in order to arrive to the best energy efficiency solutions that we can provide for those buildings. The understanding and collaboration of everyone, I mean, it's a long way and it's a long journey that needs awareness from everyone. No matter how much technologies you can implement, it's the users who add on and make sure that these projects are successful and achieve the required energy saving that we target.
And the understanding of the users, which comes from maybe education and part of the role of the Dubai Supreme Council of Energy.
I want to add here a few,
Please.
Dr. Waleed, we had gave the proof and we made a full portfolio of buildings for the Emirates of Dubai, which we had retrofitted. We convince the customer, the government customer and the private sector of the performance of retrofitting and the benefits and the savings, the most important, the monetary saving. And we had successfully managed to do nearly now 15,000 building of equivalent to 15,000 building being retrofitted. Our target also, of course, is very aggressive. We have 30,000 buildings to retrofit at least by 2030. And the stock right now in Dubai is more than 300,000 building. So it is a very challenge, of course, and Dubai is a growing city. The growth is 7% in 23. So, and there are new projects. But definitely, we established the system. We established also a fund. It's called Dubai Green Fund. And
I was going to ask about incentives.
Exactly. We introduced this. And it's been right now widely used. And of course, the Etihad ESCO, under the leadership of Dr. Waleed, as a CEO, had managed to make the correct awareness of the benefit of retrofitting, because it's include the cooling, it's including the lighting, the water, everything, and also the envelopes of the buildings. And that's why Super ESCO model is a reliable model. But the most important thing, part of that also, as he mentioned, measurement and verification.
And it's also a solution being looked at in aviation.
Yeah,
so.
of course, of course.
So let's look at the consulting angle of retrofitting, if you may, Hassan. What would you say is the strategy where you've seen the most impact? And, well, perhaps the most impact for the least investment, which always brings us back to cost?
Well, when it comes to the low-hanging fruit, let's say, I think the panelists mentioned behavior change is the easiest. Typically, when we do an energy audit, we find that there's a lot of waste happening. For example, let's say we leave this room after this event. If we forget to turn off the lights, turn off the air conditioning, where there's no one here, that's going to be waste of energy. So the easiest thing is apply simple controls, behavioral changes. That was going to be the first thing. And then you go into minimum, let's say, investments like changing lights into LEDs, the typical usual suspect, putting what we call variable frequency drives on fans, on pumps, so on and so forth. What we need in the near future, I would say, excuse me, because a lot of those developers have already done these things. We've worked with multiple of these developers that they've implemented these kind of low investment and high savings. But if we want to get to the 2050, 50% reduction on the demand side, we need to go with deeper retrofits now. We're going to change chillers or, for example, connect to district cooling. And this will have a major impact. So the issue would be the investment cost. So private, let's say, entities would look at 3 to 5 years payback, but now we need to push towards 7 or 10 years. And this is one of the major, let's say, drawbacks, let's say, or hurdles to these retrofits is that we always look at 5 years, but if we want to go to the really huge amount of savings, we need to go with the higher payback period, which some private sector might look at that as a little bit of risky. If I have that amount of money, why don't I build another building or build a hotel or upgrade my restaurants and I make more revenue? So this is the trade-off where these different, let's say, entities need to look at to see, no, energy efficiency makes more money than the other investments, especially we've seen with the government, a lot of good examples with that. And also I want to reiterate of His Excellency Shafar mentioned, the thermal storage is going to be one of the biggest answers to the problem here. Today I was watching a video and Elon Musk was asked that question, that what about fusion energy? Is that going to be the answer? So currently we have nuclear fission, and there's fusion, which is still not, technology is not there yet, maybe 15 years from now. And he said, we have the sun, it's a fusion reactor, we get all that sun, and it's free of maintenance, nobody needs to go there and do any maintenance. And we see in Dubai, we have the huge solar parks being installed. The problem with solar is we don't have solar at night, so we need batteries. It's way more expensive to use electric batteries compared to thermal storage, let's say, like Empower is using. And also, it might take 10 years, 12 years for these batteries electric batteries that you need to replace. The thermal storage tanks will last for 30 years without any specific maintenance. So a key to the change would be tapping into this thermal storage, which already Empower is doing, but we need to tap more into, let's say, to district cooling. This helps a lot because look at typical building. You have a typical building with 20-year-old chillers. They already need to be changed. If you have a district cooling plant that's sitting next to it, do you think it's cheaper to connect, just put a pipe, or change all the chillers on the roof? So it's better to remove those chillers, which are already probably oversized, and now you know exactly what size you need, and then you connect to, let's say, district cooling provider like Empower. That is one of the key elements to curb the demand in Dubai.
Thank you. Although it would have been nice to have someone to stand by the solar panels and projects, but yes, they bring their own challenges with them as well. Deepthy, turning to you, would love to hear your thoughts.
Sure. So from a certification perspective, right? So as
but staying on district cooling still. So, I mean on retrofitting.
Yeah. So from our perspective, yes, retrofitting couldn't be more important, and this couldn't be a more opportune time to tap into the 99%. We say that existing buildings are already out there, and they comprise the 99% of the building stock that has the potential to be modified and improved. Yes, while LEED does focus on new construction, taking Dubai, the city of Dubai as an example, they've not been able to achieve platinum by looking at future data. They achieve platinum looking at historic data on emissions, energy, conservation, etc. So the retrofit market is booming, and as a rating system, we've also seen that we had to intervene. So we introduced a platform called ARC sometime in 2019 to capture real-time data. So that was futuristic thinking by our board and our leadership, saying that yes, we do see that AI is going to take off, but what about the existing billions and billions of LEED certified space out there that is somehow neglecting their performance. So once a building is constructed, achieves a certification, it could be platinum, it could be gold, and once it is handed over, there is a handover gap between the team that actually designed and executed the building vis-a-vis the team that has to run it. So that comprises of everyone from the operations management to the facility management team. So who's going to bridge that gap? Who's going to say, hey, no, that's not good enough. You have LEED Platinum in design and construction, but what about operations? So I think with the introduction of ARC and ESG being the buzzword since the post-pandemic, during pandemic era, there are a lot of small little things that we've been able to address. Number one, measure your data. Number two, see where your low-hanging fruits are, like Hassan and Dr. Waleed mentioned. And then it comes entirely into the hands of the end user to either turn it into a fantastic product, a fantastic building, or to completely lose sight of what needs to be done and ignore it for the next so many years. Luckily, we don't see that happening in the UAE and in Dubai specifically, because the world is looking at Dubai as the prime example and looking up to Dubai's leadership as an exemplary model globally. So I don't think we are going to slow down anytime, and we are going to be at the top of our game always. It is just about doing it right. And
but Deepthy, what do you think is the most important factor in encouraging more people, more builders to use and to go into retrofitting projects?
So we always say that, all our products, all our policies, processes have to be people-centric. So when it ultimately boils down to the end user, and if end users like you and me can actually understand why is it that we're doing what we're doing, I think that's problem solved in itself. And definitely to orient tenants, anchor tenants, facility managers, actual building users on how much can be improved at what cost. So putting that dollar value is very important today. It could be for the end user, it could be for the operations team at a building. So I was reading this very interesting report by PwC and JLL, and they've clearly earmarked the MENA region's green building retrofit potential at $2 trillion, and the global market stands at 25 trillion US dollars. And within the organization, we've been able to release a sustainable finance framework specifically targeting building retrofits and the potential to raise money towards being able to retrofit and towards energy efficiency and savings. So I think it's about, number one, orienting the end user, and number two, putting that dollar value to know how much can be saved through what measure.
Thank you. And Excellency, can you maybe give us an example of a large project, something tangible? Let's stay with retrofitting. A large project that went into retrofitting and then, as a result, had a certain percentage of savings. Maybe something we can all relate to from Dubai.
Thank you very much. I don't have the exact numbers, but there are certain projects which we had made. One of them is, of course, at the Dubai airport, where we had made major retrofitting. Dr. Waleed will elaborate on the matter. And yesterday we had a sign, and he was, His Highness DC was there. His Excellency Saeed Al-Tayed, the Vice Chairman, was there. As such, we driven the main stakeholder of Dubai, which is Emirates Airport and Emirates Airline premises, and so on, and he will elaborate on it. There is a very early stage. We had made a labor camp retrofit for the Jafza in Jabal Ali at the very, very early stage. And we introduced even the financing mechanism for it. And it was a very, they saved minimum, because in our, to take any building, we look at normally, Dr. Waleed will elaborate again, but 20% as a minimum saving. So we made nearly 35% saving in this project in Jabal Ali, and it was headed by bin Saleem, Muhammad Sultan bin Saleem, and it was really an eye-opener for everybody.
But does it have to be driven by government?
We establish, of course, the retrofitting is by the government first, to play the role model and to drive the retrofitting in the market. But Jafza is a semi-government doing. So other than that thing also, we took other projects for the private sector completely, and we use the government entities to do the role model. This is whether it is in retrofitting or in green economy initiatives, like, for example, green mobility and so on. Energy efficiency is a very robust. It needs always a very robust policy making, governance. It needs the engagement of the stakeholder, and that's what Dr. Waleed is saying and explaining, that he needs to run all the way to them, bring them over to engage with the stakeholder, to supply them with the correct data and the saving. The measurement and verification is a very essential, because a lot of people don't believe in these savings unless you show them example. So till the establishment of Etihad ESCO as a super school till now, they have multiple cases and multiple successful projects which they can showcase to the owners and take a new project. And that goes again with His Excellency Ahmad bin Shafar. He had demonstrated through his project and his connection to a lot of buildings in Dubai, as he mentioned, which he can showcase and show these successful engagement with the other owners, how he can bring space, and how can bring comfort, and how he can bring saving in energy and money value to the owner.
So are building owners and developers receptive? And if you'd like to chime in, Doctor?
You can ask him. He was fitting. Made the retrofitting next to my house even. Big one.
We don't do any retrofitting now, but we have tried it actually. We have done one example which is really impressive. Emirates Tower. It was running with a traditional chiller. Their consumption was very high. We managed with my team in Empower to connect Emirates Tower on Friday morning, 6 o'clock. We disconnect the traditional system. We convert it to the district cooling. They have a huge saving on the electricity consumption. We free precious piece of land, where is their garden, so they can use it for any other purpose. The concept of district cooling, it's actually give a flexibility to the developer, whether the master developer or the building owner or the end user, to get the benefit to the maximum. Empower is the largest district cooling provider in the entire world. So we have to understand, we did not reach there because of our work. It's actually a lot of elements. One of the main things that the government really supporting the concept of district cooling, and they require something friendly, environment friendly. And this is the real target for the government of Dubai.
But implementation is still limited in many cities.
Yeah, but we have to understand, we are just a new city. We are not like New York, 150, 160 years old. You know, the district cooling in New York City, I work with them and I know them. They had it 130 years, where we are just have it for the last 20 years, and we excel, we exceeded them.
Here, yes, but in other cities where it would be highly beneficial, it's still very slow to adopt. What do you think is causing this delay?
Unfortunately, this is all it's rely on the projects coming in each city, even within the Emirates of the UAE, like within all Emirates in the UAE, if you notice that the main developments come in Dubai, in city of Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah a little bit, Sharjah, it's also tangling in between, but we have to understand it's all depend on the population, the government regulation, availability of the service, adaptability, education, which took us a lot of times. I will ask you a question now, all of you. When you get in your car in the summer, what you do? You start your AC and you put it low. You think the AC go to the low? Never ever in the life AC go below 17 degrees, no matter what you do, unless it's they call it the Glyco, which is goes sub-zero. But otherwise, AC will not. When we enter to our house, our apartments, we put the AC low, set the temperature on 24, 23. Within 15 minutes, it will be cool. All the shopping mall. When you enter to the shopping mall, what you feel? No, it's not chilled. I'll tell you what's the techniques. Seriously. The techniques in each shopping mall, they increase the oxygen level. So when you enter to the shopping mall, the brain needs oxygen. When you enter, you say, oh, I'm fresh. I can walk, I can sit, I can drink, I can spend. It's a marketing strategy, it's a tactic. And they set the temperature in all shopping mall around 22. You never feel warm or hot in the shopping mall. Why? Always you feel enthusiastic. When you come to your house, oh, I'm tired, I want to say. When you come to your office, in Empower office, I told them increase the level of oxygen. I don't want anybody to come and feel lazy. I can use them to the maximum.
You also forgot to mention how the men or the husbands always wanted lower and the women are always cold.
You know, this is always, we have that challenge at the house between husband and wife. Somebody needed warm, somebody. By the way, I cannot sleep on a temperature more than 23, 24.
But now in all seriousness, in the malls, when you said the oxygen levels are being heightened, is this a more costly option?
No, it's actually, it is look, it's a tactic. My target on the shopping mall, not to save 5% of my electricity consumption. My target is to bring the customer to spend on this shop, to go to the grocery, to sit in the coffee shop, to have a dinner, to have a pleasant with their kids, and spend more money. If you spend 1,000 and I have 100,000 people coming, this is by itself about 10, 15 million. So I can compensate that difference. And by the way, the mall, they don't increase the oxygen every day. On the weekend, what is the number? The number of visitors increased. Definitely they need to do so. And this is a tactic, which is a normal marketing strategy. I don't want to say in front of His Excellency, he might give a regulation to change that.
We are already introduced new energy efficiency measures, whether it's for the industry, energy efficiency in industry, and energy efficiency in the commercial also building, like the malls and all this. Energy efficiency should be everywhere.
So
apologize for bearing the bad news.
Basically, what we are doing is we are all here are collaborating. With a way or with another, at the end of the day, our main goal is City of Dubai. Our main goal is to achieve the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, which he set the bar high. He's a real guy he's a gentleman he look at tomorrow, he don't look at today. We have worked for the last 20 years. I strongly believe that His Highness, when they told me about the concept of district cooling, I said, it's 1 or 2, 3 projects and we will stop. But then we see the project is just coming up, one after another. The recent project, what we took Dubai Airport. We are the first district cooling company buy an asset on the airport in the Middle East. So we are operating the airport, we are operating university, hospital, shopping mall, residential, commercial, all type of customer, and we top it up with the airport. So we have everything.
I'd like to hear, we'll move on, but I would like to hear later what others can learn from Dubai in this respect, and why is it that here it's been implemented so well. But we will move back, Doctor, to retrofitting, and maybe you can share with us some of the most exciting technologies that you're aware of.
Since the start of the demand-side management program, We are proud to participate in those 15,000 buildings retrofitted. All our projects are overachieving, if not achieving as per the guaranteed saving. But there is one specific project that I would like to highlight, and I would like to give the rationale why this is the most successful project. We executed a retrofit project for Dubai airports in 2019. This is the 5th year. The guaranteed saving promised was 28%. We're achieving 34 to 35%. And the rationale behind that is, and as Mr. Hassan has said, many of the clients like to go with the low-hanging fruit and doesn't like to, or they feel reluctant to go to the longer payback period of 10 years, where they will implement the full-fledged of retrofit that includes the latest technology, implementing AI, all the smart and sensors where the utility, the consumption is only targeted to what you need to operate without any waste. The awareness, the client engagement with the project. We give training and capacity building to our clients. We need them to be engaged with us to understand how we do our measurements and verification, how we can, throughout the project, identify a newer technology, more advanced, where we can implement it, add on to the existing technology. And that really gives the ultimate saving and efficiency that can be implemented in any project. Implementing those kind of technologies and going with the full-fledged of the retrofit, the owners of the buildings and the clients have to understand that they need to understand the long-term benefit for their assets, where it will increase the asset value itself and have their building more healthy and give it a long lifespan. I'm sure, Mr. Ahmed, you know, any building that is connected with district cooling worth a lot more than a building with a chiller. So all the owners need to understand that it's not just saving that I will achieve 20, 25%. It's a long run, what my asset will worth after 10 years.
Will the new airport have district cooling?
Definitely, they will. They already have. But keep in mind, when you have your own air conditioning system, you have to spend on maintaining, retrofitting, changing and replacing after a certain period of time. So basically in district cooling, you are not obliged to do all this. The utility company or the district cooling provider will give you an assurance that whatever service, it will become like when you come to the plug of electricity. Do you know DEWA, from where did they give us this electricity for the light? I don't care. DEWA is producing from Jabal Ali or from D station or G station. I don't care. I need also only when I come to my room, I put my finger on the socket and I turn it on and off. We need to take the air conditioning system to that level. Whether we produce from DIFC or Healthcare City, as long as you get service, that's all what you want.
And if we stay on the subject of tech, Hassan, maybe you can share some of the technologies that you're aware of that will really make a difference with energy saving.
Well, maybe there's one technology that I've been looking at for the last maybe few months, fresh air. So to make this room from a health and safety point of view, so there are some contaminants that are being produced now by the different furniture, by people, in order to make sure like the CO2 level, the different contaminants. ASHRAE, which is the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, Air Conditioning Engineers, they've set 15 different contaminants that we should always check. So once it gets to a certain threshold, it becomes problematic to humans. So there's a new technology called sorbent ventilation, which basically takes the, let's say, the airflow from the room and cleans it and then sends it back, removes all these gases. Previously, our filters were typically just like media filters where they capture dust and particles. But we were not able to remove gases. So we're not able to remove CO2, for example, from this room. We're not able to remove formaldehyde, CO, ozone, and these problematic contaminants. So there's a new technology that basically can remove these contaminants. So now produce or get less amount of fresh air that normally is 30% of the cooling requirement in a building. And now we can reduce that 30% by half by using that kind of technology. This is called sorbent ventilation, and it comes from submarines. So when you're in a submarine, you don't have access to outdoor air. So how can you live there for 6 months? Similar thing with the space stations. So they took that technology and made it available for buildings now. And that technology can remove these contaminants, rely less on the outdoor air that's normally at 46 degrees C or very high humidity. And now we can clean the air, and then we still have some amount of outdoor air because we want to keep the building pressurized. We don't want this unwanted infiltration to come in. This is one technology that is quite nice. For cooling, we have magnetic bearing chillers. Nowadays, they are more efficient than the typical chillers. However, the technology is still in its infancy from the point of view of using it in large district cooling plants. We don't have large capacities of these chillers that can be deployed. But hopefully in the near future, that's something that could help driving the district cooling or the central plants cooling efficiently. These are like a couple of latest technologies that could be used, but sorbent ventilation, to me feels like a good fit for our region because of the amount of outdoor air we need to get in buildings to keep them safe. And people are I heard His Excellency speaking that in their office they want to make sure people are always alert. There's not much of contaminants. So this is what tenants would want, occupants, building owners, that make sure the health and safety, indoor air quality is top notch. So that kind of technology, which is still not being used a lot. We're doing actually in a mall a pilot project with one of the leaders of malls in the UAE, in particular in Dubai, to test that technology to see how much we can save and if the indoor air quality is maintained or improved.
Thanks. And deepening the subject of technology, to let Deepthy chime in, do you think the relevant technologies, the most efficient ones, already exist?
Thank you for that question. It's very relevant because when I was listening to everyone else on the panel, my mind was wandering from the poorest of projects to the richest of projects. Why poor? Because it all lies in the ideology and the execution, right? So there are some projects we struggle with where they don't even have sub-meters. But we also have other projects on the other hand. By the way, 90% of the malls in Dubai are all LEED Platinum certified. So we also have projects such as those that even go to the extent of capturing carbon monoxide contamination at 1,000 cubic meter volume. So we see both sides of the scale and we say, okay, what we actually want to achieve here is a balance where everyone's happy. And His Excellency Ahmad mentioned the very important factor of thermal comfort. And that's the proof is in the pudding, right? When we speak about energy efficiency, there's also a very important element of thermal comfort that comes in. So we're not just looking at, okay, my building is 90% energy efficient. We're looking at my building as 100% comfortable and satisfied occupants. And that leads to better rental yields, better productivity, lesser number of employees that are sick. So to answer your question, we see all extremes, and what we wish for is a balance between both sides. At least check all the boxes and make sure that you are at a 70–80% efficiency so that tomorrow your people benefit from it. And I have to say this on this platform, I'm sorry, Michelle, but we have a very boardroom sort of approach when we speak about sustainability. What happens to our children who go to schools in the UAE and the rest of the world, right? Are we focusing on schools? Are we focusing on improving the indoor air quality within schools? So there are certain sectors that warrant attention, and I think from a government and leadership perspective, we can all work together to help our future generations benefit from what we're doing today.
Thank you. So as our session is nearing a close, it would be great to hear some final thoughts that you'd like the audience to take with them today. Excellency Al-Muhairbi.
Thank you very much. I think if we really need, or in order for energy efficiency program to work good and to get the fruits, the result, the saving, we have to have a sound policy making. That's number one. Number two, a sound regulation, whether it's for retrofitting, whether it's for district cooling, or so on. The third one is the public-private partnership. This is a very important. Dubai has demonstrated to the world in power generation that we can do it. And we had saved up to 40 billion dirham. This is due to the sound leadership of Dubai and the leadership of also of Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, which had achieved through a teamwork to capture the right and the correct and to bring also the price of electricity and energy to affordable level. This is a very important, whether it's electricity or water. And the fourth item is the stakeholder engagement. The program owners also has to understand what they want to do. The owners, the private sector of Dubai have also to understand why do we need retrofitting, why they need to do a retrofitting for a building to go to district cooling, to efficient cooling. This is a very important matter. I think this is the way forward. We had succeeded in the IPP. We had made a very big success. We had made worldwide in the MENA region through Emirates Energy Award. We brought success and we demonstrated to everybody this is a very successful case. So energy efficiency is a successful thing. And we wish.
Sorry, but once it's cost efficient, that should give enough encouragement.
Yes, absolutely. In Dubai or in the UAE, the duration of the building, they deteriorate very fast. And it needs to be retrofitted. It needs to bring, they are cooling, normal cooling, air-cooled system, which are doing 2 kilowatt per ton, compared to what this cooling is doing right now, 0.85 kilowatt per ton. So this is a very big progress toward this. I will leave the rest.
Thank you. Excellency bin Shafar.
I think we are striving to be always number one. We love number one. We taught to be passion with number one in the industry, especially in district cooling. I'll continue to do what I do in district cooling, and I'll work until the last day to me in this organization to grow it up. We know that the AC in this part of the world, it's not a luxury, it's a necessity. We cannot live without the air conditioning system. We should provide our people and the country and the city of Dubai the best ever system that we can provide with very cost-effective price. Definitely, we are also thinking to expand the concept of district cooling beyond the city of Dubai to the other Emirates, beside also looking at the GCC as a potential. But you know, at the end of the day, there is always challenge to move from city to city or from country to country with the same concept that we have and with the same strength, because it's a lot of elements. But thank you very much to bear with us for all this time, and we talk a lot. Thank you.
Dr. Waleed, final thoughts.
Energy efficiency and sustainability is an ongoing journey and practice. I think we have the support from our leadership. 2 years in a row, the year has been announced as a sustainability year. We have the right policies in place. We have the technology that we can keep up and implement. The only thing is we just have to work together in order to put it in practice and achieve it. Dubai has always been a leader in many industry. I think it's our obligation, all of us, to achieve making this beautiful city the most sustainable city in the world.
Thank you. Hassan.
Yeah, reiterating, Dubai has been the leader probably in the MENA region when it comes to energy efficiency and district cooling. Recently, we're working with NEOM, for example, on their district cooling plans. We're designing some of their district cooling plans. And when they want to look at district cooling, where do they come? They come to Dubai. I was in Thailand a few months ago talking about district cooling. And I went to a large district cooling plant, and they told me first thing they went to check district cooling was to come to Dubai. Dubai is the leader when it comes to these newest technologies, energy efficiency. I'm working with the World Bank now on in the MENA region to look at energy efficiency. So one of the things we focus on, what Dubai did. So we always go back to Dubai as a role model for the whole region. So we need to continue basically cascading down from the leadership where they have the a great vision and they're adamant on achieving a net zero. So we need to follow the leadership recommendations and requirements and cascade it down to the end user. I think just following what the plan is should get us to where we need to be.
Thanks, Hassan. And Deepthy, what is the most important thought you think we should be taking with us today?
When I tell people I live in Dubai, they say, wow, Dubai. And I think that speaks for itself, right? 10 years ago, we had to go justify why sustainability. Today, we just have to follow the lead from our clients and our stakeholders and advise them on how to get there.
And when was that shift?
That shift happened 8-9 years ago. And thanks to everyone here, because of all of these initiatives, right, and the vision of the government and His Highness, that shift started happening much before the pandemic, but in 2012, 2011, we still had to justify the need for sustainability to some of our clients, not all of them. But today, we don't have to do that. Today, we just have to tell them how to beat everyone else at the game.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to all of you for your incredible insights. And I believe we'll all be leaving today looking at Dubai through a retrofitting and district cooling lens. I know I definitely will. So really a big thank you. Thank you, everyone.